January 21st, 1910. The Seine starts to rise. And here's the thing, nobody's worried. The Seine does this every January. Parisians are used to it. They stand on the bridges, they watch the water climb. Just another winter flood. After all, they have Baron Haussmann's sewers. 600 kilometers of tunnels beneath their feet, the most modern drainage system in the world. Paris is protected, or so they think. January 23rd. Something's wrong. The water isn't coming from above, it's coming from below, through the sewers, through the metro tunnels, through every pipe and drain. Haussmann's masterpiece, it just became Paris's worst enemy. The metro. Line 4 opened 3 weeks ago, brand new, the pride of modern Paris. Now, it's an underwater tunnel. Parisians watch the Zouave statue on the Pont de l'Alma. It's their measuring stick, their flood gauge. When the water reaches his knees, we worry. When it reaches his waist, we panic. Gare d'Orsay is the first to fall. Water floods the platforms. Trains stop. Then the compressed air plant shuts down. Clocks freeze. Elevators stop. The lights flicker. Paris is slowing down. January 27th. Half the metro network flooded. 12 arrondissements underwater. And this is only the beginning. January 28th. The water reaches its peak. The Zouave statue, up to his shoulders, 8.62 meters above normal, the highest in 250 years. Le Petit Parisien called it Venice of despair. But Parisians didn't despair. They adapted. Boats became the new carriages, streets became canals, 20,000 buildings flooded, 200,000 people evacuated, families trapped on upper floors, waiting, watching the water. The army arrived with boats, 300 canoes from the navy, soldiers rowing through streets, rescuing families from windows, delivering food and medicine. Engineers built wooden walkways, miles of them suspended above the water. Paris adapted. Life continued. But not everyone could adapt. Furniture floated away, homes destroyed, livelihoods lost, everything underwater. For 10 days, Paris held its breath. Would the water keep rising? Would the bridges collapse? Would the Louvre flood? Then, January 29th, the water stopped rising. Slowly, very slowly, it began to fall. It took 35 days for the water to disappear completely. 35 days of pumping, cleaning, rebuilding. Paris survived, but it would never be the same. The water left its mark. Thick mud covered everything. Streets, homes, lives. Paris was drowning in a different way now. Pumps roared day and night, thousands of them, draining basements, clearing tunnels, fighting against millions of gallons. 400 million francs in damage. In today's money, 1.5 billion euros. Buildings destroyed, businesses ruined, entire neighborhoods gone. But amazingly, not a single death from the flood itself. The organized response saved everyone. Police, firefighters, soldiers, the Red Cross, they did what seemed impossible. Slowly, people returned home to see what was left, to salvage what they could, to begin again. The cleanup was massive. Thousands of workers clearing streets, removing tons of debris, washing away the mud. It would take months. The metro had to be drained, tunnel by tunnel, platform by platform. The pride of Paris, waterlogged and dark. The water had lifted Paris's wooden paving blocks, thousands of them, scattered like toys. The streets themselves had to be rebuilt. But Paris endured. It always had. It always would. The water was gone. The city remained. And something else remained too. Memory. The question everyone asked. Could it happen again? Paris hoped not. But Paris also prepared. New flood walls were built, higher, stronger. Engineers redesigned the sewers, added overflow basins, anything to prevent another 1910. The metro was redesigned, watertight doors, automatic barriers, pump systems that could evacuate millions of gallons in hours, not weeks. Building codes changed. Ground floors had to be above the 1910 level. Basements required waterproofing. The city learned. But the biggest change was invisible. A network of sensors, constant monitoring, weather prediction. Paris would never be caught off guard again. Today, Paris is prepared. Emergency plans, evacuation routes, regular drills. The city that drowned in 1910 now knows exactly what to do. And it's needed. 2016, 2018, the Seine still rises. But now, no chaos, no panic, just preparation. Climate change makes it worse. More rain, more floods, more risk. The lessons of 1910, more important now than ever. In a strange way, 1910 saved lives. Not then, but now, and in the future, because Paris remembered and Paris prepared. Stories become legends, photos become history, and history becomes warning. The flood of 1910 lives in every photograph, every street corner, every memory. Paris never forgot. The old men told their sons, the sons told their children, this happened here, this can happen here. Be ready. The city rebuilt, stronger, smarter, but also humble. Nature had reminded Paris of something important. You can engineer anything except humility. And the river just flowed, as it always had, as it always would, indifferent to human plans, indifferent to human pride. Today we face bigger floods, not just of water, information, crisis, change. The lesson of 1910, don't wait, don't hope, prepare. Infrastructure matters, planning matters, but most of all, community matters. Paris survived because Parisians helped each other. That lesson, timeless. We live in fragile cities, built on assumptions that power won't fail, that water won't rise, that systems won't break. 1910 proved they can, they will. But we also live in capable cities, cities that learn, cities that adapt, cities that remember, if we let them. In January 1910, the Seine taught Paris a lesson. The same lesson rivers have taught civilizations for thousands of years. You don't control nature, you coexist with it. 35 days, that's how long it took for the water to disappear. But the memory, that stayed forever. In buildings, in photographs, in stories, in preparation. Paris is still here. The Seine is still here. The risk is still here. But so is the knowledge, so is the preparation, so is the memory. January 1910, the flood that changed Paris, the flood that saved Paris, the flood that Paris will never forget.